Vic Carucci here with my Take Two thoughts on the Bills game against the Texans Sunday at Houston. Let's start with the revenge game theme. Conventional wisdom, mostly from a Buffalo perspective, is that the revenge is on Stefon Diggs, right? Thinking that he needs to show the Bills what they're missing from their trading him to Houston back in April, that it was an addition by subtraction move. Wants to show the Bills how much they have subtracted from their offense. But I think this is every bit as much a revenge game for Josh Allen, the guy who really was at the center of the whole idea of moving on from Diggs, because there was a prevailing thought that, number one, he wasn't happy in general, Stefon, but not happy with Josh Allen, the guy with whom he collaborated to form one of the best quarterback-receiver duos in the NFL over the course of the 4 seasons that Diggs played in Buffalo. But Allen now finds himself with a group of receivers, and clearly no number one in that group. And Allen is the one who has said that it's refreshing to him, loves the idea that no one is worried about his stats among this group of receivers that he now has. Clearly a shot at Diggs. Now, Allen has talked this week about how much love he has for him, not forgetting what Diggs meant to his career and meant to the Bills during the time, again, that Diggs played here. But overall, this is a prove-it situation for, I think, both players and certainly both teams. One game isn't going to answer all these questions, but for sure, the Bills' offense, and especially their passing game, is missing a lot without Stefon Diggs. That is undeniable. Their receivers, especially in that blowout loss at Baltimore, struggled to gain separation in coverage. No one has really emerged as a top-level threat. Khalil Shakir has been the leading receiver on the team. He's going to miss this game with an ankle injury, and I think that compromises Josh Allen's efforts to try to get this offense in gear and be explosive against what is a very explosive Houston offense. Now, Diggs' role in that offensive explosiveness by the Texans, not overwhelming. He's got like 25 receptions. He's second on the team, but it is Nico Collins who is really the force of that receiving group that is features Collins, a guy named Tank Dell trying to come back from a chest injury, and of course, Stefon Diggs. The real key to the Texans' offense is their young quarterback, C.J. Stroud. He just turned 23 this week. He is a dynamic player, had an amazing, historic rookie season, and now is looking to build on that in his second year. Hasn't been as dynamic, but certainly downfield plays, those longer throws, have been something he does quite well. Has the receivers to do that, but he also has the arm, also has the ability to extend plays. This will be on the Bills' defense to generate enough pressure to try to minimize that, and certainly their coverage. And the Bills' pass coverage, particularly with deeper throws, has been excellent. They've done a very good job of that all season. But this will be, I think, a particular test because of the quality of the Texans' passing game, number one, and number two, Taylor Rapp, the Bills' best safety, going to miss this game while he is in concussion protocol. Bills will also be missing a piece of their pass rush, Von Miller, beginning a 4-game suspension for violation of the league's personal conduct policy. Miller with 3 sacks in 4 games, barely played against Baltimore last Sunday night, but has definitely contributed to the Bills' ability to get pressure on the opposing quarterback. Let's take another look at the Bills' defense, and this is the run defense. Man, was that a nightmare against Derrick Henry and the Ravens. The good news for the Bills is that they don't face anybody close to Derrick Henry on the Texans, and that the Texans rank near the bottom of the league in rushing offense. Their best back, Joe Mixon, is going to miss this game. He's been injured the last 2, so this will be the 3rd in a row that he misses. So their ability to try to run the ball effectively, I think, is going to be challenged for sure. But The Bills also will face a challenge. They're one of their best run stuffers. Ed Oliver, he's going to miss this game. Suffered a hamstring injury in practice. So taking him away from the middle of that defense could be an issue. Not sure exactly if the Bills are going to get Terrell Bernard, linebacker, back from his pectoral injury. He's listed as questionable. Nickelback Taron Johnson, definitely a factor and a contributor in run defense as well as pass defense, one of the best nickel backs in the game, has a forearm injury. He too listed as questionable, so we'll see how those two progress. But Sean McDermott has talked about needing his defense to be more physical and to establish that right away, a physicality, a mindset on dealing with an offense that tries to be physical with them. I think the Texans will definitely test that. There is no doubt that they will see how the Bills can handle the run, even if they're not as successful at it as the Ravens, who have the best run game in the league, were last Sunday night. They still will certainly and should push the Bills in that way, see if they can set a tone that way, and it also can lead to their ability to try to attack them deep. Offensively, Josh Allen, okay, again, something to prove here, but doesn't have Khalil Shakir, so he'll need to lean on others. Definitely Dalton Kincaid, and definitely Keon Coleman, who emerged in the late stages of that game against Baltimore with a couple of very nice contested catches, but that's the operative word, contested. His ability to get separation and get open is not really his greatest strength, but he is physical, he is athletic, and fights for the ball well. It will be interesting to see how he works against this Texans secondary, which does a very good job of preventing those bigger plays. But you know the Bills are going to want to go to that well, and Josh Allen has talked about that from a game planning standpoint, to put more on Coleman in terms of the game plan. So we'll see how that works out. My final thought is this. Close, competitive, tough game. The injury list is not helpful to the Bills. The Texans, certainly with Diggs, you know, they're going into this with a thought of trying to have something to prove from an AFC landscape standpoint, that they're right there in the thick of things, that they're a challenger for an AFC championship that right now looks very wide open. Nobody looks to be unbeatable, but the Bills right at the top of the list of teams that could go the distance and win the AFC, but we are a long way from that conversation. And again, you see vulnerability elsewhere, but this is a chance for the Texans. I think the Texans, this means a lot to them to establish their place in this competition. I think it's understood that with Josh Allen, the Bills are already there, but with young C.J. Stroud in year 2, with Stefon Diggs, wanting to prove something and his teammates wanting to rally for him on that, I think that's going to make this an interesting competitive game, but I think the Bills emerge with a close win. For Two on Your Side Sports, I'm Vic Carucci.